Imagine defending your pregnancy to millions of people by literally calling it a dowry.
Oh, totally. The teasers dropped, the fandom went completely silent, and then bam.
Right. In an instant, the entire K-pop world was turned upside down.
And a massive generational war was just, like, blasted all over our feeds.
Welcome to StarScope K-Report. Join us as we ride the Hallyu wave, uncovering the biggest comebacks, shocking industry controversies, and major K-drama updates.
Yeah, from internet-breaking rumors to, historic chart milestones, we dive deep into the world of Korean entertainment.
Exactly. And our mission for today's deep dive is to help you understand this rapidly transforming landscape of love, marriage, and, well, gender dynamics in South Korea.
And we're doing that all through the lens of one of the most talked about celebrity weddings of the year.
It's honestly such a wild story. But before we get into it, what are our sources for this?
Right, so we are pulling from a really fascinating stack today. We've synthesized a whole wave of recent Korean entertainment news articles from Star News, MK, Chosun Biz, and Koreabo.
Usual suspects, yeah.
Exactly. But we are pairing those explosive headlines with this massive, incredibly detailed 2020 anthropological dissertation from UNLV.
Oh, wow. Going academic.
We have to. It's by Alex J. Nelson, and it's titled Love in South Korea.
So the headline that sparked all of this, the one that had K-nets absolutely losing their minds, is this. Maxim model Park Min-jung marries HOTSAUCE's Song Hyung-ju.
The July 1st, 2026 wedding.
Yeah, right. She's this huge influencer, and he runs that million-subscriber comedy channel. And, I mean, on the surface, the visuals of this wedding are just everything fans expect.
Oh, flawless. You look at those June 30th photos, and she is an absolute visual.
Totally. Park is in this voluminous silk dress. Song is in a classic tuxedo. They announced their engagement back in January, and her posts were like the modern romantic ideal.
Yeah, she's talking about how he cherishes her despite her shortcomings and how she learns so much from him. It was very sweet.
Super sweet. But then the narrative derailed entirely, right?
Oh, completely. And it was all because of an appearance Park made back in January on the Kkondaehee YouTube channel.
Right. She totally went off script.
She really did. She didn't use the usual PR-friendly agency script at all. She literally sat there and bluntly stated they were rushing the marriage because, quote, "We want to have a baby."
Which, I mean, in South Korea, being that transparent about wanting or potentially already having a baby before the wedding is finalized.
It's a massive taboo. It immediately ignited this absolute firestorm of premarital pregnancy rumors among netizens.
The comment sections were completely flooded, just dragged her.
Oh, for sure. But the fascinating part is how Park pushed back. She didn't issue some sanitized, corporate apology.
Right. She went on the offensive. On July 1st, she took to social media and posted a photo clearly showing her slim waist.
Yeah, and she pointed out that she occasionally drinks beer, basically mechanically shutting down the physical rumors of an active pregnancy.
But she didn't just stop at a denial, which is what I love about this. Yeah. She challenged the underlying stigma itself.
Exactly. She looked at her massive following and just asked, "What's wrong with a premarital pregnancy?"
And she literally called it a blessing and a dowry.
Yes. She argued that given the skyrocketing average age of marriage in the country, a pregnancy actually demonstrates responsibility.
Which is such a bold statement, calling it a dowry.
It's a total masterclass in reframing, right?
Right.
She is publicly, unapologetically rejecting the traditional shame associated with starting a family out of the conventional order.
Right, because South Korea is currently facing one of the most severe demographic crises in the developed world.
The lowest fertility rate on the planet. So by calling a premarital pregnancy a dowry, which historically is, a material asset brought into a marriage, she's weaponizing a traditional concept.
Oh, wow. Yeah, she's using the old rules to validate a modern, highly stigmatized reality.
Exactly. But it makes you wonder,
Right, like, are influencers like Park actually forcing a cultural shift, or are they just capitalizing on a trend that young people are already living?
Is she the catalyst tearing down the taboo, or just a symptom of a generation that has already abandoned these old rules?
And that's where that UNLV dissertation comes in, right?
Yeah. The study strongly suggests she is a highly visible symptom of a revolution that has been brewing behind closed doors for decades.
So influencers are just bypassing the traditional media gatekeepers to say it out loud.
Pretty much. The groundwork was laid long before Instagram even existed. To understand how radical her statement is, the researcher takes us back to the 1960s with a man named Mr. Cho.
This anecdote blew my mind when I read it.
Right. It's crazy. So Mr. Cho agreed to marry his wife after merely seeing her lower legs as she carried a water pot across a courtyard in the dark.
Just her legs
Hmm.
in the dark.
Literally just her legs.
Yeah.
And the official proposal. He went to a formal arranged meeting, a seon, and simply ate an apple that she had peeled and handed to him.
That's it. He eats the apple and they're engaged.
That was it. But the mechanics behind that dark courtyard are crucial. In the 1960s, strict Confucian gender separation meant unmarried men and women were not mingling socially at all.
Right. Marriages were brokered by matchmakers or the elders.
Exactly. Mr. Cho only saw her legs because that fleeting, shadowy glimpse was literally all the physical data he required. Marriage was an intergenerational duty, not a romance.
It was about appeasing parents, finding someone to manage the ancestral rites, producing heirs.
Yeah, the UNLV study defines this specific mechanism as the ideological rule of
Jeong, which is like this deep, sometimes begrudging affection or loyalty that builds up over time.
Exactly. It's the glue of duty. You endure the marriage, and Jeong forms through shared survival.
So traditional Korean marriage was essentially a corporate merger where the two families were the board of directors.
That is a perfect way to put it.
The bride and groom weren't the CEOs. They were just the assets being acquired to secure the family lineage.
But then you fast forward to 2006 in the study, and we meet a guy named Wol-chul.
Right. Total opposite end of the spectrum.
Oh, completely. He goes on dozens of expensive blind dates, finally finds a woman he deeply connects with, and proposes on a rented boat on the Han River.
Like a literal K-drama scene.
Exactly like a K-drama. Because today, the couple themselves are the founders of their own startup, and the board of directors has been totally locked out.
And that shift is what the study calls moving from Jeong to sarang, right?
Yes, sarang is passionate romantic love. Over the last few decades, sarang has become an absolute non-negotiable prerequisite for marriage in South Korea.
And the data backs up how fast this happened. I mean, in 2008, 51.1% of Koreans still believed that prioritizing the extended family over the spousal relationship was the correct way to live.
Which really wasn't that long ago.
Not at all. But today, young urbanites actively and loudly reject that idea. The spousal bond has to come first.
But the demographic fallout of demanding sarang is staggering. Because marriage is now viewed as a choice based on personal happiness, people are waiting until they find the perfect match.
Which is why the age of first marriage has skyrocketed. In Seoul, it's over 33 for men and 31 for women.
And as a direct result, fertility rates have plummeted.
It's all connected. And you know, that's not even the wildest part of this cultural shift.
Yeah.
Later in this deep dive, we'll talk about a literal linguistic rebellion happening in Korean living rooms that nobody saw coming.
Oh, the grammar stuff is so fascinating.
But first, we have to talk about the cost of sarang. Because the demand for romantic love has inadvertently made marriage, like, infinitely more expensive.
Yeah, the UNLV study outlines what it calls the pragmatic love-gender gap. Modern couples demand true romantic love, but they are simultaneously trapped by crushing economic realities.
Right, you're fighting for romance, but you're also fighting math.
Exactly. The study found that Korean women place a much higher importance on a partner's financial stability than men do. But the researcher makes it very clear this is not about gold digging.
No, it's a calculated survival strategy in modern Seoul. South Korea has the highest gender pay gap in the OECD, with women earning roughly 15% less than men.
And then you add the absolute nightmare of Seoul real estate to that.
Well, the real estate market fundamentally dictates relationship timelines over there.
Totally. It's not just about expensive monthly rent. The traditional Korean housing system, jeonsis, requires a massive lump sum deposit.
We're talking sometimes hundreds of thousands of dollars just to secure an apartment.
Right. And to acquire that kind of capital in your late 20s or early 30s, you absolutely need either a dual-income powerhouse or massive generational wealth transferred from the parents.
Which most people just don't have. And it's crazy because we tend to think of celebrities and idols as completely immune to this hell-chosen economy.
Oh, for sure. We see the music videos and the brand deals and assume they live in a completely different reality.
But look at the Koreaboo article from our sources detailing the reality for Jo Kwon.
Oh, from 2 a.m.
Yes, a fiercely famous member of a top-tier K-pop idol group. We are talking all hills on the charts, a visual powerhouse on every major variety show, a massive fandom.
He was everywhere.
Literally everywhere. Yet he revealed it took exactly 3 years after his debut to get his first settlement check from his agency.
After 3 years of grueling top-tier industry fame, and do you remember how much the check was for?
Yes, 240,000 Korean won. which is about 155 US dollars.
That is just heartbreaking.
He literally used it immediately to pay his cell phone bill.
Wow.
Right. If a top idol who is carrying the Hallyu wave on his back is struggling to pay a phone bill, imagine the crushing weight on the average young person working at a mid-level company.
Trying to scrape together enough money for a jeans deposit to start a family, it's almost impossible.
It creates this intense pressure.
It really does. This economic pressure cooker creates highly toxic roles for both genders, which the study breaks down beautifully. For men, there is the suffocating concept of breadwinner masculinity.
Meaning they feel intense, overwhelming pressure to provide the seed funding for the marriage.
Exactly. Culturally, they are still heavily expected to pay for dates, and they feel deeply emasculated if they can't afford the trappings of a middle-class life.
They are navigating hell-chosen, this ultra-competitive, unforgiving, hyper-capitalist landscape of endless hagwons and grueling corporate hours.
Where falling behind feels like a literal death sentence. And on the flip side, women are navigating the terror of what the study calls unbounded sacrifice.
Unbounded sacrifice. What does that look like day to day?
Well, young women have watched their mothers and grandmothers sacrifice their entire identities, their careers, and their autonomy for their husbands and in-laws.
Right.
So today's young women who have fought tooth and nail for their university degrees and corporate positions fear that the second they sign a marriage certificate, those traditional patriarchal norms will snap back into place.
They fear being forced to abandon their hard-earned careers just to serve their new in-laws.
Exactly. So they now seek bounded sacrifice, highly negotiated compromises where their careers and autonomy are structurally protected.
It's a tragic irony, honestly. Both men and women in South Korea want the exact same thing.
Yeah, a loving egalitarian partnership based on sarang.
But the economic structures of hell-chosen and these lingering, rigid gender expectations are pitting them against each other.
It makes finding a partner feel less like a romance and more like a hostile negotiation.
It really does. And if you love staying updated on your favorites and uncovering the deep cultural currents behind the headlines, make sure you subscribe to StarScope K Report. We've got even bigger scoops ahead.
Because this next part is wild.
Right. The linguistic rebellion. This is where the deep dive gets incredibly psychological. We literally see this massive cultural gender war playing out in the verbs and honorifics husbands and wives use behind closed doors.
As key culture fans, we all know the rigid hierarchy of jondaetmal versus banmal.
Oh, absolutely. It's in every K-drama.
All right. Jondaetmal is the polite, formal speech used for elders, superiors, or people you just met. And banmal is the intimate, casual, sometimes blunt speech used for close friends, younger people, or subordinates.
But the UNRV study tracks how young couples are actively weaponizing this grammar. Historically, wives, who were almost always younger, were culturally required to use polite jondaetmal up to their husbands.
While husbands, in turn, use casual banmal down to their wives.
Which means every single time they spoke, whether asking what was for dinner or arguing about money, the language itself was structurally reinforcing a patriarchal hierarchy.
It's baked right into the sentence. But the modern shift is that couples are flat out refusing to use that grammar. They are rebelling.
So what are they doing instead?
Most young couples today insist on mutually intimate speech, meaning both are using banmal to foster absolute closeness and equality. Or, fascinatingly, they use mutually polite speech, both using jondaetmal.
The mutual jondaetmal is brilliant, honestly.
Isn't it? Let's look at the mechanism of a fight. Imagine a couple arguing over finances or real estate in Seoul.
Okay, high tension.
Exactly. If they were speaking in banmal, it's easy for the argument to become vicious, blunt, and highly emotional. But the study notes that couples use mutual jondaetmal as a psychological buffer.
Oh, I see. Because it is incredibly difficult to hurl a toxic, degrading insult at your partner when the rules of the language require you to conjugate your verbs with the utmost formal respect.
Exactly. It naturally de-escalates the tension and forces mutual respect into the heated moment.
That is so smart. But the old rules cast a long shadow, which leads to what the researcher calls the double life phenomenon.
Oh, this part is so interesting. The researcher found that many modern wives will speak casually to their husbands in private, using banmal as equals.
Right.
But the second they step into a family gathering or are in front of their in-laws, the wife immediately switches to speaking politely, using jondaetmal to her husband.
But hold on, I have to push back here. If these young wives are still switching back to jondaetmal the second the mother-in-law walks into the room, aren't they just sustaining the patriarchy?
It definitely looks like compliance on the surface.
Right, like they aren't tearing it down, they're just hiding the rebellion to keep the peace.
But the UNLV study frames this as a highly calculated performance. The wives are performing the traditional daughter-in-law role specifically to manage the older generation and prevent them from interfering in the marriage.
Oh, so it's a tactical retreat.
Yes. By putting on the linguistic costume of John Detmold in public, they protect their egalitarian reality in private. Language isn't just a reflection of culture, it builds the culture.
By changing how they speak to each other in their own homes, young Koreans are actively tearing down the patriarchal hierarchy of the household word by word.
Exactly, they are reclaiming their power.
Let's take a step back and look at the massive journey we've been on today. We started with Maxim model Park Min-jung and YouTuber Song Hyung-ju, looking at these flawless, picturesque wedding photos.
And watching an influencer casually brush off Kkondaehee's pregnancy rumors by calling it a dowry.
Right, but by unpacking their story and the anthropological research surrounding it, we uncovered a seismic societal shift.
We really are watching an entire generation in South Korea dismantle thousands of years of family duty.
They are redefining the economics of survival in Hyeong-ju and rewriting their literal grammar, all in the pursuit of egalitarian romantic love.
They are tearing up the old script and trying to code a new one from scratch, and they are doing it while navigating one of the most economically punishing environments in the world.
The shift from Jong to Sorang is a profound cultural transition. It affects everything from birth rates to the daily vocabulary of a household.
It really does.
Which leaves you, the listener, with a final provocative thought to mull over.
Oh, I like this.
As this extreme individualization of love continues to strip away traditional matchmaking, family involvement, and the old rules of courtship.
Yeah.
And as the pressure to find the perfect egalitarian partner grows in hyper-competitive environments like Seoul, will technology eventually step in to fill the void?
Oh, wow. Like dating apps becoming more advanced?
Exactly. Will the algorithms become the new arranged marriages of the 21st century? Will AI become the new board of directors, neatly framing our complex lives, just like a perfect wedding photo?
Honestly, when you look at how exhausted young people are from navigating this battlefield alone, algorithmic matchmaking might be the exact seed funding this generation is looking for.
You've been listening to StarScope K-Report, where Eric and Min-ji bring you the stories shaping K-pop, K-dramas, and the global Hallyu wave. Thanks for tuning in, and don't forget to subscribe for more stories that keep the stars